Okay, so we're going to discover how to animate faces on our jack-o'-lanterns. Okay, so I'm going to start out with a simple sphere. Create polygon primitives sphere. I'm going to scale it up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and delete history on it and name it OJack. Jack_geo. And edit, delete by type history. And then I'm going to go to my polygon menu set, the mesh, smooth. And I'm going to turn up these divisions to 2. We can adjust these later on if we want to. In order for the displacement to look nice and smooth, we need relatively quite a few faces, I guess. And then if we look at the UV space of this object with the UV texture editor, then we can see that it looks like this. So we're going to create a face on this object. By using Photoshop. Okay, so in Photoshop, I'm going to create a new document. It'll be square. We'll do it in pixels, and we'll choose 1024 by 1024. Okay. And I'm just going to do something, really simple. Now, we're working in black and white for now. Okay. And keep in mind, this square represents our entire sphere. So we just want to use a small section in the front, middle of it. And actually, let me put that on a new layer. Okay, so it's going to be spectacular. Now you want to make sure this is nice and black, because black on a displacement map means that area is going to sink in. Okay, and the non-black area is not going to sink in, and the gray area is going to sink in a little bit. Okay, so there is the face that I want. I need to save this out. I'm going to save it as a PNG with transparency. It's not mandatory, but I reckon it works good. I'll click save. I'm going to save it to our class folder. If I can find it. And this one's, I'm going to call this one our transparent. This one's actually going to be our transparency or our opacity map. Okay, so I click save. Okay, now I need to go to my layers, and I want to add a layer effect. And I want to do an outer glow. And I want to add a little bit of a fade, a little bit of a glow to the edge that's black. So I'm going to turn my blend mode to normal, my color to black, and I'm going to increase the size a little bit, like so. Okay, now I've got an issue. Okay, where I drew white, I actually shouldn't have been erasing. So let me grab my eraser. Let's get in here and erase. Too big. I want to use a hard brush. I wasn't thinking about that when I colored white. Okay. Now the reason we're putting this glow around it that's black is that way when it pushes into the pumpkin, it won't be a real sharp edge. It'll be a sort of sharp edge.
What if we wanted a sharp edge?
Well, then you would not put a glow on it. But you can play with it, and you can even take this back off, which I'm going to have to do real quick. Okay, so I'm going to save this again as a PNG. I'm going to save it. This time it's going to be displacement. Okay, I'm going to go back to my layer palette and I'm going to turn off these effects and I'll save it again to replace my opacity map so that they'll match up exactly. Okay?
So opacity without the glow and then displacement with the glow.
Yes. And hopefully we'll be able to make a sense out of why here in a second. Okay, so now back in Maya, I'm going to right click on my mesh, assign new material, blend, click on blend 1, go to the transparency attribute, click on the checker box, select a file, click on the file browser, going to navigate to where my file's at and select my opacity.png, and there it is. So there's my face for now. Okay, it doesn't look that great. So now I've got this done. I'm going to go to my blend shader group. Probably the easiest way to get to that is to get to your blend node and then your attribute editor and click on the little box with the arrow shooting out of it instead of into it.
What would you say the biggest blend and Lambert?
So the question is, what's the big difference between blend and Lambert, because you're on video? Is the blend has all kinds of specular reflectivity attributes, where the Lambert does not. And so the blend is probably the most universal of all the different material shaders. It can do the Lambert look if you want it to, but it can also do like a mirror finish if you want it to, or chrome or something like that. Okay, so we're going to get to our blend shader.